And that music tells us it's time for the Umpire Strikes Back. We've got a very special guest on the line this morning, Josh Cable. Good morning, Josh. Bevan here.
Good morning.
Look, thanks for joining us. I might just give a little bit of a quick background. We actually had your grandfather Barry on the show last year, and he did mention that his grandson had started to umpire. And of course, we had Daryl Sinclair on last week, who mentioned that you were doing some Colts games. So great to have you on the show. Tell us about you umpired last night.
Did the East Fremantle-South Fremantle Colts game.
That was a good game?
It was. It was a bit fiery, but that's to be expected.
Yeah.
Some sort of derby, so it was good.
And what number game is that in the Colts for you now?
That was my 4th game this year.
Oh, well done. With round 5 or 6 to do 4, that's a pretty good effort. Just take us back a little bit, Josh. Obviously, people knowing your surname would obviously think football. Were you a player before you were an umpire?
I played juniors up until under 14s, and when I was playing under 14s, I decided to take up umpiring at the same time. And then during that year, when I was doing both, I sort of decided, I liked umpiring more, so that's what I decided to carry on with.
And which district were you doing that in?
The East Fremantle district.
Oh, yes, okay, good district there. And so were you sort of invited to come down to the Waffle, or did you just think, go down and have a tryout?
You go through what's called like the talent pathway nowadays. So you start off umpiring in juniors, you do that for a couple of years, and they pick you out of that, and then they take you into what's called the junior district talent squad. So I was in the South squad, which is named after current AFL umpire Dean Margett.
Yep.
So once you get into that, then you umpire a bit of PSA footy, a bit of amateurs Colts, and then from that you get moved into the senior community umpiring panel, and that's where you move through the amateurs ranks, so all the way from Colts, reserves to league, and then after that, then you get picked to trial for the Waffle. So that's what I did at the start of this year, and then got in.
Fantastic. Have you noticed a step up in the brand of football that you're umpiring now?
Certainly it's a lot quicker. And the players are a lot more skillful. Obviously, last year I was umpiring a lot of amateurs footy, and it can be a bit hard to control sometimes. That sort of gives you that background in getting your management up. But then once you step up into Colts footy, you've got to be really fit and ready to go because the players just run all day.
And Josh, the talent pathway that you've just discussed, it sounds like it's, there's a few steps there. How long has it taken you to get from first being approached to come along to getting to where you are now?
I started umpiring when I was 14. This is my 7th year of umpiring now. So it does take a while to move through. So I think it's all just about experience. I mean, because now I'm in Waffle, there's still a long way to go to then umpiring Waffle League footy, and then, even then getting into AFL, it really is a long pathway. I suppose it's all about just getting games under your belt and getting that experience. That's what they want to say.
But I think these days there's a structure within umpiring, isn't it, that if you have that ambition to get to AFL from where you are now, there's a clear pathway, isn't there?
Yeah, it's really laid out for us. So it is clear, that you're heading in the right direction when you're on that pathway. So yeah, it is good now.
And Josh, in terms of, do you get as a young up and coming umpire, and you talked about Dean as a current AFL player, do you get mentored by guys either that are currently in the AFL or perhaps have been in the AFL, or long-term Waffle umpires that help you with your craft as you're coming through?
When I was in the Dean Margett squad, he was really good. He'd come down to some training sessions. He'd give us really valuable sort of coaching that we could take into our games. And it was just really good having that wealth of experience to draw from. And then even at Waffle, all of our WA-based AFL guys come down to our training, and I think just last week we had a session from Luke Farmer. So it's really good having that sort of coaching, as well as the actual coaches we have at Waffle. We get match day coached every day we go out to umpire. Footage gets reviewed. We've got coaching sessions at training. So there is really a lot to draw from.
And Josh, most of us who play sport are lucky enough to have family and friends come and support us while we're doing this. So do you get your family coming down to watch you umpire?
Yes, I'm lucky in the fact that I do. Granddad will come to almost every game. He has been throughout the whole 7 years I've been umpiring, which is really good, as well as mum, dad, and whoever.
I guess we should just ask, which cable is your dad? Is that Shane?
Barry.
Barry, okay, right,
Yeah.
I've got that sorted out. So Barry Senior does come down and watch. Does he sort of give you the odd hint and that sort of thing? I mean, I don't know that Barry umpired too many games himself, but he'd certainly understand football pretty well. He'll
come down and watch the game, and then he'll ring me up afterwards occasionally and ask me how I think I went, and just talk about the game in general. I think he likes going down and keeping involved with footy. He likes watching games, even if they're Colts games, or even when I was umpiring some pretty crap amateurs games a couple of years ago, he'd still come down and watch them, so he still loves to be involved.
Well, he does. I mean, he actually came, when I was umpiring, he came down to training a few times and just joined in. He seemed to have a bit of an affiliation or something with the umpires. He just, he blended in really well and enjoyed coming down. That
doesn't surprise me. He likes to think that he knows a bit about the rules, but I still have to touch him up every now and again.
Good on you, Josh, mate. You're setting straight. Hey, just on the feedback that you talk about in terms of that you're getting, and I'm sure that the feedback that your granddad gives you is good and positive, but I'm really interested in what are the sorts of things that the experienced guys are watching for and telling you that, are areas for improvement when you're out there being a field umpire?
Well, for me this year it's been about, because as you go through the talent pathway, last year that's when I mainly started umpiring more games in like the 3 umpire system. So there's a lot of positioning things and stuff that we get taught. This year especially, that's what I've been told to be working on, my positioning in the 3 umpire system. And then as well this year there was a bit to work on with the 3 law changes. Right. So we really got, we've shown a lot of vision, gone through it a whole heap of times to make sure that we get it right on game day.
And you've got the 3 umpire system in the Colts now?
Yes, that's right.
Oh,
that's good. I used to, it's interesting you talk about the positioning, because I know that my uncle, when I was playing junior footy, if I was struggling for a kick, he used to always tell me, and it was only the 2 umpire system at that point, but he'd always say, go to where the second umpire is, because sure enough, the second umpire was always where the next part of the play was going to be. So I went from just being getting the old 11 or 12 touches to racking up 25, 26, thanks to knowing where the umpire was.
Just ignore that last bit. That's just Adam sort of talking himself up. But I guess we've talked a bit on the show today about the goal umpire getting in the way. You haven't taken any big grabs while you've been umpiring out there, have you?
No.
But it is difficult now that you've got the 3 of you out there to stay sort of out of the way of the players, but be close enough, isn't it?
We've got when we're umpiring in the end zone, it's an important coaching point is to stay out of the corridor. It's not supposed to be the hot spot where players are leading through. So there's all sorts of things like that, which helps us both read the play as well as stay out of the way, I suppose.
Yep. And from last night's game, have you had any feedback yet? Did you feel you were on song last night?
I think I had a pretty good game, and the feedback from the match day coach was pretty good. So now we just wait for, we get a match day report to come through, and then we also get a running sheet, which is all of our decisions and, correct, missed, unwarranted, whatever. And it's all it's got the time noted on it as well, so then when we get the vision of our game, we can go back and have a look at it and see what they're actually talking about, which is really valuable, because it's one thing just seeing it on the paper and going, I don't think that's right, and then you can actually go and get your vision, look at it and go, I can see where he's coming from there. So, yeah, it is good.
Oh, look, that's brilliant. And it sounds like there's still quite the pathway for you. Look, Josh, we've had to come to the end of our segment here. Thank you very much for joining us today, Josh Cable. We wish you well with the rest of your umpiring career, and I'm sure the family will continue to come and watch and enjoy your sport.
No worries. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Josh.
See you, Josh.
Well, looks like we've come to the end of another show here on 91.3 Sport FM.